You're watching Houston Live.
From inside Houston, you're sitting down with Zay, and we have special guest Eddie KAIN in the building. How you doing?
I'm good. How are you doing?
I'm doing good. So we know that you are in the music, in the arts, and in the entertainments, and your recent project is Love Spectrum. Let's get straight into it. What does Love Spectrum mean?
Okay, so I mean, the word spectrum, of course, goes like it's a range, like it goes from one extreme to the next extreme. And so I named it Love Spectrum because it's really talking about, you know, the beauty of love and all the good things that comes with it, but then it also goes into, you know, the valleys. You know, you have your peaks and your valleys, so it goes into that as well. So the album kind of like tells a story a little bit, and it takes you on a journey from those highs and lows.
I would say your music in general is taking me on a trip because you also have album Nostalgic, and then you have Honeycomb. Now, when I looked at Honeycomb, I said, okay, I don't know who this man loves, but he loves somebody. And whatever piece that you had, because you sat down in the middle of the somewhere and made a bowl of cereal.
I did. The funny thing is I had to be creative at that moment. The female love interest I was supposed to use couldn't make it, so I was like, okay, when this stuff happens, I have to be creative. So I went to the store, bought a box of honeycombs, which I think is disgusting, and I sat there and I said, let's make it interesting, let's make it a picnic, and let's just have fun with it. But Honeycomb is actually the first single from Love Spectrum. That's the first single on Love Spectrum. So it was actually supposed to be written for a female artist, but then she didn't like it, or she said it doesn't fit her voice, and so I just went ahead, took it, re-recorded it, and said I'm gonna make it my own. So that's what I did with that. Okay,
now I want to know, when did this music bone come into your body?
Well, I've always had music in my body. I think I probably had it since I was high. But as far as like recording, I started recording in 2017, and it all happened on accident.
Let's talk about that.
Well, I was...
Because sometimes accidents
happen, right? And accidents bring out your purpose. I was actually like, you know, I was in the church, I was in the choir, and I mean, that was good, but I knew that that wasn't really what I kind of wanted to do. I'd be standing up there singing with a microphone on the praise team and in the choir, and I would be telling myself, I want to write my own song. So I'm there just like completely zoned out doing that. And I realized that that wasn't really my purpose. My purpose was to create music. So after, you know, doing some shows and some Christmas plays and not being involved in the choir for a while, I come back and I found out I was kicked out. So I was like, yes, this gives me an opportunity for me to go do what I need to do. So
question, I'm gonna interject. Okay, so Christian folks, sometimes they don't have a Christian spirit. So when you finally took that chance to step out and make a different genre of music, what was that feedback like coming from the church family?
Well, they already knew because I already told them, even on the praise team in the choir. It's funny because I made a joke and I said, oh, gospel isn't even my favorite style of music, it's neo soul. And so the eyeballs went like, huh? And I was like, neo soul is my favorite style. And I just feel like that was the style that really, even when I was a little boy, that was a style that I've always clinged to. I was an old soul when I was young. I was listening to Shante Moore, people like that. Yeah.
Give us a couple of more names that inspired you along your journey.
There's a lot of names that inspired me along my journey. But I can definitely tell you that Will Downing is my vocal idol. That's why my tone and style reminds a lot of people of Will Downing. So, of course, he's in that jazz, sophisticated soul genre. And so I was like, oh, I want to do it, not to be exactly like him, but just that inspiration was really what I really wanted to do. So I had to follow my heart, so I did it.
Okay, and you are from Houston, correct?
I'm from Houston.
Born and raised?
Born and raised.
Okay, so being in Houston where the competition is just so rich, and now when I say competition, you can look at it how you want to look at it, but there's so many people here into the arts, the entertainments. How do you stand out as a neo-soul artist?
I always, well, first of all, my voice is very unique, so I sound like nobody. I don't sound like anybody in Houston that I know. But it's just me owning my sound, and at first it took me a while to accept my sound. This is before I started recording.
Why is that?
Because it was different. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't like what you hear here. And there's a lot of local artists, whether it's gospel or R&B, that have a similar type of sound. Mine was completely different. It's low, it's raspy, it's different. And just being able to embrace that sound and then being able to then write according to what I wanted to do, then I was like, okay, me being somebody that doesn't sound like a lot of people was actually a plus and attribute for me. So that's what I did, and I just owned the sound. And so I put out an album every year.
Okay.
I put out an album every year since 2017. So this is my sixth project. Yes.
Okay, sixth project. Okay, I got two questions for you. So your first song that you ever put out, what was that feedback like from your immediate family, mama, daddy, or just your closest friends? Well, what was it like? Was it good, bad? Was it what you expected?
So the first song I ever recorded was called The Voice, and I was going through a very tumultuous time at that time. So I wrote that out of pain and depression and all of that. So that was my first time in a recording studio as a solo artist. I've done backgrounds and different things before, but doing that, I felt like I was kind of, and it's a funny thing because we're such harsh critics, and we're like, oh, I really feel like I could have sung it better, but at that, I sung it very light and soft, but it fit the emotion of that song. But I was like, oh, I could have done it better. But when people listened to it, they were like, I felt your pain, I felt your heart. So it's The Voice is the name of that song from Vocal Therapy, which is my first album. That wasn't my first single, but it was the first song that I recorded. So after that, I was like, you know what? I think I can do this. Okay. So that's when one song I wanted to write turned into a project.
So did that feedback turn you up? Being that people saying that I could really hear where you were coming from?
Yeah, it did, because I've always been a songwriter first. I love to write, so being able to write that made me just say, you know what, let me just write some more. And then the next song, of course, was called Groovy, which was my first single, which is more of an up-tempo. So I said, let me try something different. So I always wanted to do that. So it turned into a project that it was very well received, and it was my first project. So after that, you know, I started doing more things as far as, you know, learning background harmonies with myself. And so every album I try to grow vocally and try to do things. Yes.
Okay, you say every album your plan is to grow. So. Yeah. Being that this is your sixth album, where are you now in this stage of growth, or your recent stage of growth? Where are you now?
I think I went from a still developing artist to somewhat proficient now.
Wait, why are you laughing?
Because you hear the growth, and I think that, you know, as artists, we're very hard on ourselves. But I did a lot of, you know, listen, what I did this album more than anything was really, really focus on background vocals as well as leads. So really working on my ear harmony, and I did I got a vocal coach. And so I took my time. This album probably took longer than any of the other ones because I really kind of took my time with this to make sure everything was completely precise, as I've done before, but this one more than any.
Okay. This one just hit a little different.
It hit a little different on this one. I was ready. I took some risks. I have like a song that's kind of has a reggae feel. I went Afro beats on another song. I went disco on another one. Okay. So although it still gives you that neo soul, you know, vibe that you always get from me, I still ventured out and did some different things on this one.
Okay. Now you said you performed and you touched many different stages. Talk about an experience that really set the tone for you, where you knew, like, I'm doing the right thing, or the crowd reacted really well to the time you performed, or if there was a time where you sung, gave it your all, and
oh, that's many a time.
Ain't nobody, they like, we don't know about that one.
We don't have, we gotta take all day. But there's many performances, but I can say there was one performance, it was on, was it my fourth? Yeah, my fourth record. And that was during the pandemic that I recorded that. But at 2022, I performed it. And this is probably my third time performing it. And it was a song that I wrote for my friend that passed away. He got murdered. He has five kids, so that was hard to record, and then it was hard to do it. And that day was really, really difficult because that was the anniversary of his passing that I performed it at. So I've never cried singing. So I mean, I could sing it, and I'm seeing the vision going on and everything. So I turned my head around. And so I didn't want anybody to see me crying. So then after all of that, I turned back so they could see that I was crying really hard. But I still got through the song. And it was emotional. People were crying. People gave me a hug. And I think that's when I was like, okay, this is just not for me. This is something for music touches lives. I know his mother always listens to the song, and I know she inboxed me and she said, thank you so much for that. You know, it keeps his memory alive. So I think it's more, that's when I was like, this is why I'm doing what I'm doing, because I'm being used in a way to touch people more than just myself. So that's what it was.
Okay. So now that you move forward and you done put out your latest baby, your latest project, what do you want people to take away from this go round?
This go round, I want people to see, you know, that love has different meanings and messages. We talk about, I mean, enlightening love. You talk about old school love on this record. You talk about self-love and motivation. You talk about the love of Jesus. I went to the love of God. And it's just letting you know that we really need that. And so it's a beautiful emotion that we can use and just take it. And I just want people to feel good. I want you to listen and have an open mind and listen to the words, listen to the lyrics, listen to the vocals, listen to the music, and just feel inspired to feel love.
Okay, and I'm just taking back full circle, like you said at the beginning. You said love spectrum is a spectrum of things and emotions. So we're going to have to feel that spectrum and hear
some dark sides.
Up, down, all around. Look,
downs.
ups and downs. Let everybody know where they can follow you on social media and stream your music.
Okay, so Instagram is Eddo, EDDO 128. Facebook, Eddie KAIN, EDDIE-KAIN. That's the same thing for TikTok as well. And again, same thing, Eddie KAIN. You can use that all music media outlet stores, all music media. You can find my music there. So, yeah. And I didn't talk about the bad sides of the love.
The bad side. Let them know real quick.
Well, you know, there's you know, you got to confront some stuff.
You put it out there on the album.
We confronted some things, and then there was some obsessive love, because after you confronted it, then you felt bad, and so the next song, you're like, I'm obsessed with the fact that I done let this person go. So it goes in that spectrum, but that's what I wanted to do.
It's so many emotions being released on the forefront.
On the
forefront.
You
ain't hiding nothing.
I ain't hiding anything, So.
Okay, on that note, this is Inside Houston with your girl, Zay. And look, go listen to Eddie KAIN and catch some of those emotions. We're going to catch that drift, and we're going to go figure it out. We're going to go figure it out. Because you have to learn yourself right in the album. It taught you some things.
It did. I mean, it did. I was like, ooh, I want to go deep here. So I mean, a lot of wordplay and some, you know, some different ways to do that.
Okay, Houston got more to hear from you. Y'all can follow me on Instagram at ZayHalitha.TV. And like he mentioned, follow Eddie KAIN on everything. And we are out.
Okay.
Yes, sir. Good job.
Thank you.
Okay, emotions.
All right.
No matter who you are, no matter where you go, everyone needs a taste of love.
Hey there, I'm Tahira English with Pure Vitality. I help men and women over 40 look better, feel better, and have better sex. So if you're interested, give us a call at 281-407-5530 because we make happy endings.
Hey guys, Ashley here with You Endure Tea Company. And are you feeling sluggish? Well, we got something for you. Uendore's all-new Slim Tea 14-day detox. This organic detox tea helps to purify your body by gently removing toxins, waste, and excess water. The premium herbs were blended to support your immune system, help boost your metabolism, and stimulate your sluggish digestive system to help you feel lighter and less bloated. And let's be honest here, who does not like being lighter and less bloated? I mean, if you ask me, I definitely do. This delicious blend has powerful ingredients that help support a healthy colon. Plus, it's caffeine free, y'all. So visit us today at uendore.com. And remember, when you make healthy choices, you endure.
Ecstasy. I'm in a blissful state of mind. I cannot hide what I feel inside. Endorphins always seem to rise. Can't control myself even though I try. Even though I try. Ecstasy. You rescued me.
That's a hell of a drug, ain't it? It's making you do all that. Yeah. You done started from the church, you done evolved, and now here you are growing steadily.
Yeah.
Ecstasy. Somebody made you feel this way, but you have to get it out, huh?
Right. I have to get it out.
You have to get it out. Let them know, Eddie KAIN, where they can find you on all streaming platforms.
Yeah, on Instagram, Eddo, EDDO 128. On Facebook, Eddie Kain, EDDIEKAIN. Same thing with TikTok, and also on all media platforms, all media outlet. Love Spectrum out today. Thank you.
With Inside Houston, I'm Zay. You can catch the interview and live performance here on HJS TV. Love Spectrum.
Bye.